Dear Leo, ABZ from the 323Z, gonna show you how to make a preset in FL Studio, how to save it. All right, so first thing you gotta do, go to Mixer, you click an insert, and you wanna right click. Go to File, then you go to Open Mixer Track State. But before that, I'm gonna show you how to even make a preset to begin with. Boom. You're on Insert 1, go to Slot 1, and what I do wanna say is the order in which you have your effects matters because you got to think of it as a chain. It's going to go through the auto tune first. You want the raw vocal to go through the auto tune and then process your vocal. Then after that, it will be typically EQ, a compressor, a limiter. Then after, once you have all those essentials, the main ones, then you could play around with effects, chorus, flanger, reverb, delay, all that fancy stuff. But first is waves, typically. Then, like I said, you got an EQ, right? Then you want to compress the vocal. Then once it's compressed, you bring it back up. And I might have the order wrong. We're going to see my presets. It might be Soundgodizer before. The Soundgodizer will make it pop once again. And then you bring it down. Once again, it's all about balancing. Then you put the limiter, blah, blah, blah. Now, what you want to do to save this preset is you right click, you go to File, Save Mixer Track State As, and then you title your preset. And that's it. These are my presets right here. We finna get into it. I'm gonna have a brief explanation for all of them, starting with AB Elite. Now, AB Elite is probably my favorite one because it allows me to utilize the auto tune, but not excessively. It still makes my vocals sound raw. It still makes my vocals sound clean, clear cut, and it doesn't sound like a Kanye 808s and heartbreaks type of deal. You know, it's not excessive with the auto tune. The main thing about the auto tune is these two knobs right here. You got the speed and you got the no transition. I have it on 12 and I have it on 11. Like I said, this is perfect for when you're singing very, very loudly. You don't want to be close to the microphone, like you're really pushing your vocal to the limit. I'm gonna show you this EQ. This is like it's not you're utilizing your diaphragm very much and you're pushing your vocal not rough, but you're pushing it to a certain degree that requires it to be at this level, that requires the autotune to be at this level. You take out the low end. You always want to have the low end out because you want to have space for the 808 and the kick or any bass instrument. This is the compressor. You can copy that, pause the video, limiter, soundgodizer. This is like an EQ of its own. It has its own presets. You got B, C, and D. I have A for this one. Use it accordingly. There isn't a right way of using the Soundgodizer. Just play with it. And within the context of the song that you are making, play around with the presets that it has, B, C, and D. After that, like I said, this is optional depending within the context of the song, within the context of what you're trying to create. These are always optional. You got the reverb and then you got the delay. Cool. Moving on. Scrap all these real quick. I bet. So what we got next here is, I believe, AB Wavy. Oh, AB Pro. Okay, cool. AB Pro. This is more of like a crooning type of deal. You're not exactly singing. You're not pushing your vocal to the maximum. You're not trying to sound operatic at all. Like you're not doing no musical singing. This is really close to the mic. You're just crooning. You're playing with some melodies. You're not really pushing your vocals too hard. It's like talking. It's literally how I'm talking right now. That's how loud it's gonna be when you're using this preset. Um, I can make my way towards you, crazy. Shawty, yeah, you know what it is. That type of deal. You're not even singing too crazy. This is perfect for that. 11, 11. And then, of course, play with the keys right here. I typically never do group octaves. Never. I never do that. And I never play with any of these. I never play with any of these. I just keep it on generic. That's it. You don't gotta play with none of it too much. This is always on. And then you just play with the scale, you play with the key, and then you play with flat and sharp. That's it. Not even too crazy like that. This is the EQ. You can copy that. The low end is always gonna be cut. Low end is always gonna be cut unless you got like, unless you're trying to do like a baritone type of deal, like a barbershop quartet or something like that, then go ahead. By all means, you could play with this. But within the context of the music that I make, I don't use it. Fruity compressor, you can copy that. Soundgodizer, again, utilize it to your liking. And then, of course, we got the reverb and the delay and everything else. Now, Fruity Stereo Shaper, this is a dope one. This is a dope one. I was looking online. I was trying to find something that would make my vocals sound panned to the left and right, and this is what I found. It's already within FL Studio, so you don't even have to buy it. Fruity Stereo Shaper. But one thing I will say is that if you want your vocals to be panned left or right evenly, you'd have to use two of these. So you can look up here and it says 5.2 ms right. So what you want to do typically is have two of these out and then have the other one at the same thing, 5.2 ms right. Oh, you get the idea. 5.2. So you want them to sound evenly, because one thing that I did notice about this preset, the Fruity Stereo Shaper, is that if, for example, right now it's to the left, the vocal is gonna sound like it's to the left. It's very weird in that most of it will sound to the left, but you'll still have a little bit on the right. And I honestly don't even know how to really explain it, which is why when I utilize this, I use two. Hold up. All right, I had to switch back to the lab real quick. I bet. So that's AB Pro. That's fire for like some R&B tracks. AB Wavy. Now this like in between the AB Elite and also 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is just my preset. That's the one where it's maxed out auto tune. Now the thing about this one is, as you can see, the speed is at 2 and the no transition is at 13. When the speed goes lower, or even the no transition, they go to 0, that means you're maxing out the auto tune. Like you would think, right? 800, you're putting more auto tune, but nah, that's not the way this works. If I have a 2 speed, that means it's gonna be closer to what Kanye sounds or what T-Pain sounds like, right? But this is still evenly balanced to a point where it's still gonna sound natural. Like people with good ears are gonna be like, yeah, I know he's using auto tune, but it's not to the point where it's super watery, it's not robotic, right? This is super fire. This is still good. This is like some R&B trap soul type deal. If you want to play with something like that, this is where you can go. It's 2.2, 13. And like I said, these numbers aren't, you don't have to be stuck to these numbers. Like really, you could put this at 3 if you wanted to. It's all according to how you want the song to sound or how you want your vocals to sound. All right, moving on. EQ, you copy that. Pause the video. 40 limiter, soundgodizer. Yeah, reverb and delay. Like I said, what's really gonna differentiate one preset from another to me is the auto tune. How strong your auto tune is, how your no transition is, and your speed is as well. This is my homies, this is my brothers, this is Pretty Girls Like Trap. Now, Pretty Girls Like Trap, this is just max auto tune. This is Thug, this is Gunna, this Lil Baby, this Lil Wayne in 2008. You feel me? Like this T-Pain. 0.1 speed, 0.1 no transition. This is absolutely maxed out auto tune. This is utilizing the auto tune to its maximum abilities. This is gonna sound robotic. This is gonna sound a little bit watery. I like to say watery because the no transition is it's so fast, right? It's so fast. I mean, 0.1, the no transitions are gonna be so fast that you could kind of hear it sometimes. Well, for me at least, I've trained my ear to that point, you know, and you could hear it. Like you could hear how maxed out the auto tune is. EQ, could copy that. compressor, and of course the sound godizer. Now this last one that I'm gonna show y'all, it's kind of specific. You have to utilize the chorus, I think, alongside with the auto tune to really get the effect that you're trying to get. Is this one's called Rockstar. Now Rockstar, this is when you're pushing your vocal to a gritty, more grimier sound, right? Like a rock star would. Like you're pushing your vocal to that point where you're getting that grit. So therefore, the speed is going to be a little bit lower. You want to hit those notes, right? But it's still not maxed out. It's not 0.1. It's not going to sound super robotic. And the note transition is 14.2. So this is going to make it sound a little bit more natural. And this is going to make it sound more robotic, right? So there's still a good balance. It still sounds natural, but it is on the higher end of how much auto tune you're utilizing. Now, like I said, you want to use the fruity chorus in conjunction with this because this is going to add to the grime and the grittiness of it. Like this is going to really add to that effect that you're going for. Now, this is just one preset. Like I said, I'm not set on this preset. You could play around with it. There's literally like 20 presets that FL Studio has. But yeah, you want to use those two together for this one specifically for the Rockstar preset. Here are the EQs. I mean the EQ compressor, sound godizer, and then fruity chorus, right? And then you got the limiter. And all of these presets, I use them using the native instruments. I'm not my bad, not native instruments, just the FL Studio presets, like the ones that it comes with, right? The only one I believe is I was gonna say sound godizer, but nah, that definitely comes with FL Studio. It's just waves. Waves to in real time. I paid like $40 for it. Boom. You can have it for a lifetime. And that's it. And like I said, reverb, use that accordingly. And yeah, that pretty much sums up this video. Thanks for watching. ABZ from the 323Z. And I'm out. What the fuck?